Assalamu alaikum, and welcome to We Reflect the Light newscast, where we keep the original nation informed by identifying current events and future news through an unsealed biblical perspective. I'm Nicolette Hodge, here with our group panel, and today we will continue identifying the energy burst. This is part two, sisters and brothers, while highlighting the war in the Middle East and how its outcome will affect the black man and woman in America. All right. First, we start off with our 400-year history here in America and the reward we have for our sacrifice. Brother Ramadan, will you identify the Holocaust and the Abrahamic covenant? And I'll start off by reading that scripture, brother. All right. Genesis chapter 15, verse 12 through 17. And when the sun was going down, a deep sleep fell upon Abram, and lo, and horror of great darkness fell upon him. And he said unto Abram, Know of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. And also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge, and afterward shall they come out with great substance. And thou shalt go to thy fathers in peace. Thou shalt be buried in a good old age. But in the fourth generation they shall come hither again, for the iniquity of the Amorites is not yet full. And it came to pass that when the sun went down and it was dark, behold, a smoking furnace and a burning lamp that passed between those pieces.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, sisters. Brothers and sisters, this is something that we need to be acquainted with. Genesis 15:12. It tells about our beginning here in the North American wilderness, brothers and sisters. And as the sister read, it speaks of a sojourning that would be 400 years. And under that, they labeled it as we were in slavery. But it we call it a Holocaust, brothers and sisters, because as you can see, it states that we will be servants, but that was affliction added onto the so-called servant part, brothers and sisters. And under that affliction was the raping of the black woman continuously, brothers and sisters, trying to wipe out the black man's seed. And not only was the woman raped, but the black man was sodomized, and that which we produced, the children, were victims of pedophiles, brothers and sisters. So it definitely was not slavery. And as it states that we would be here for on a sojourning for 400 years, but afterwards America would be judged. And we are under that judgment right now, brothers and sisters. It also speaks of us leaving. That means we'll be leaving this land that is not ours, brothers and sisters, and going to a land that is ours. And that land has to do with our new vision, the Abraham covenant, which is in Genesis 15:18, brothers and sisters. And that is talking about a reward, a heaven that we don't have to die to get into, brothers and sisters, but a heaven that we will walk into. So, brothers and sisters, these are the things that we need to be familiar with so we can know what time it is, and we can know that the black man, the black woman, and that which we produce, the black child held captive in the North American wilderness, is now time for our reward and our physical walk in heaven. Thank you, sister.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Brother Ramadan. All right, so as Brother Ramadan identified, Genesis chapter 15, verse 18 is our vision. This is the Abrahamic covenant. All right, sisters and brothers, this is our reward for enduring the Holocaust. In the same day, the Lord made a covenant with Abram, saying, Unto thy seed have I given this land, from the river of Egypt unto the great river, the river Euphrates. All right, sisters and brothers, you look on a map, those two rivers are not in America. All right, those two rivers are in the Middle East. Heaven is the Middle East, sisters and brothers. And Arabia is our promised land. That's the land in between the river of Egypt and the great river, the river Euphrates. So, just as Brother Ramadan identified, America is not our land, sisters and brothers. Arabia is our promised land. So, and it's more than a promise. This is God's sure and volatile word. So, anybody telling you that we're supposed to stay here in America, accept reparations, or America is our promised land is lying to you. This is our one vision for us to unite under, sisters and brothers. So, with that being said, we highlight the warrior queens. All right. During the Holocaust, the original black woman made a special contribution to preserve Abraham's seed. And how did we do that? Well, as Brother Ramadan identified, our experience is not slavery. All right. Our experience is the Holocaust. Well, slavery is just 1% of our experience. The other 99% is the affliction. And during that affliction, sisters and brothers, these devils tried to rape our seed out of existence. So they restricted us from procreating and multiplying with our man. And they were raping us around the clock, putting their seed into our wombs. And their goal was to rape Abraham's seed out of existence. However, us being the warrior queens that we are, this was these devils, they went to war against us in the fields. They're still at war with us right now, sisters and brothers. They were trying to, it's a biological war, at war with our seed, trying to wipe our seed out of existence. And us being warrior queens, we snuck to procreate. We snuck to make sure that we were impregnated by our original seed. So we made a sacrifice to preserve Abraham's seed. And we are the evidence of that here today, sisters and brothers. So we kept Abraham's seed coming through our womb. And if it wasn't for our special contribution, then we would not be here to receive the Abrahamic covenant. So, and also, they were trying to prevent the birth of the Messiah, which Joshua the Messiah is the true seed of Abraham. He's the messenger of the covenant. So these devils were trying to prevent the birth of the Messiah, because the Messiah came through the womb of the original black woman, through the womb of the warrior queens. So this is a concentrated effort that our enemies have put into motion to prevent us from receiving our reward, sisters and brothers. And so with that being said, we get into our main topic, the energy burst. All right, sisters and brothers. It is a scientific fact that the universe expands and contracts. During the contraction phase, we receive a burst of energy approximately every 50 years, sisters and brothers. Now, all life is affected in and energized by the energy burst that we receive. So today we will examine how Black people are affected by each energy burst that we receive by us identifying, well, we're going to identify that by showing a historical pattern between two different groups of Black people in America. All right, so what are these two different groups of Black people, sisters and brothers? Well, that gets back to the rape of the original Black woman. All throughout the Holocaust, we were raped. And while these devils were not successful in raping our seed out of existence, they did force us to produce a nation of devils in black skin. They forced us to produce the demons. All right, demon means half devil, half man. So they have the appearance of the field Negroes, that black skin tone of their original mother. However, they have the bloodline and the nature of their devil father. So they're called demons. Understand that demons, devils, heaven, hell, all of these places and people are physical things that we can identify, sisters and brothers. The enemy has taught us to think in a mysterious way. However, everything is identifiable. So all throughout the Holocaust, we were forced to produce the demons, which are the house Negroes. So there are two groups of Blacks in America, the house Negroes and the field Negroes, also known as the demons and the saints. All right, the Europeans in black skin and the original brothers and sisters. However, what the enemy has done to confuse us is they just use the term Black. Black does not identify your bloodline, sisters and brothers. So that's a deception to prevent you from identifying who's who. So all throughout this presentation, when you see, as we identify each energy burst, we're going to see two different natures arising between those two different groups of black people. The demons' nature, because they have the same nature as their devil fathers, so they're going to go on the path of their nature, which is they love America, all right? And you're going to see the saints' nature arise with each energy burst, and it's going to become more defined and going in the nature of the saints, which is leaving America. We have our own land, Arabia. So also, as we move through the historical timeline, we will identify that every time we received an energy burst, approximately every 50 years, we see that, again, we see that two different natures arise, all right? The two different visions, the demon's vision and the saint's vision, okay? We will explore how these two different visions have evolved and become more defined with each energy burst. We will also highlight how each energy burst changed the mood of the original Black nation. Music is a reflection of our emotions, sisters and brothers, and as a result of each energy burst, we produce a new musical sound which affects the atmosphere and changes the world. All right, so the universe began contracting in the 1860s. We received our first energy burst. So here I will identify what the attitudes of the field Negroes and the house Negroes were during this time period. Also, I will identify what musical sound the field Negroes produced, which reflected our mood in the 1860s. All right, sisters and brothers. So in the 1860s, we got that first energy burst and we broke our chains. So we saw two different paths there. The sharecroppers, or the demons, they wanted to stay on the plantation with their devil father. They wanted to stay with Massa. So they became sharecroppers. However, the saints, we broke our chains. We wanted to leave the plantation. We didn't want anything to do with these devils. We didn't want anything. We did not want to stay on the plantation, period. So we became city dwellers. We left the plantation. However, we didn't have anything. We were sad. We were blue. So because that energy burst affected our mood, we produced a musical sound that shows the mood that we were in. So we were feeling blue, so we produced the blues. So we're going to see this pattern throughout history of every time we receive that energy burst, our mood changes, we produce a musical sound, and also the divide between the demon and saints gets wider and wider and wider. As you see these two paths, they get wider and wider as time goes on, sisters and brothers. So the sharecroppers, our Master's children, they stayed on the plantation, and the saints, the original brothers and sisters, left the plantation and became city dwellers. All right, so let's keep moving. Brother David, first, in the 1920s, we received our second energy burst. All right, Brother David, what were the attitudes of the European Blacks and the original Blacks during this period? Also, what musical sound did the original Blacks produce that reflected our mood in the 1920s?
Yes, ma'am, sister. Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. So in the 1920s, we saw the Eurocentric movement and the African divide between the original Blacks, formerly known as the field Negroes, and the European Blacks, formerly known as the house Negroes. The Eurocentric movement was the direction and intention of the house Negroes, who are Europeans in Black skin. Individuals such as W.E. Du Bois, whose grandfather on his paternal side was French. French is European. So Du Bois, having the bloodline of his father, was a Black skinned European. He had a Eurocentric perspective. Du Bois wanted to get political power and civil rights so that he could be closer to his European fathers. Now, on the other hand, the Afrocentric movement reflected the Afro perspective of the original nation. Brothers like Marcus Garvey, who launched the Back to Africa movement, Noble Drew Ali, who spoke about reclaiming our African roots, and also Master Farad Muhammad, who came around this time and taught about the true identity of the original man, the Asiatic black man, the maker, the owner, the cream of the planet Earth, God of the universe. So we were no longer identified as Negroes or niggas anymore. We had a sense of self-worth and identity. The original nation was also recharged by the second energy wave, so we felt jazzy. And as a result, we invented jazz music, which is soulful, smooth, lively, rich, vibrant, passionate, and complex.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Brother David. So, sisters and brothers, we see again in the 1960s, that next energy burst that we received lifted our moods or changed our mood. And also, we see two different directions of the field Negroes, which are the Saints, the Afrocentric movement, and the House Negroes, the Demons, with the Eurocentric movement. So these two groups of people we see the natures arising between the Demons and the Saints, and those two different directions where the Demons want to be closer to masses, such as W.E. Du Bois. He wants political power. He wants to be closer to his devil fathers. And the Afrocentric movement with the Saints embracing our Afros, embracing the fact that we're not niggas identifying as Negroes anymore, getting that information about us being the maker, the owner, cream of the planet Earth, gods and goddesses of the universe, with Master Farad Muhammad coming around this time period. So we see two different directions between the Demons and the Saints, sisters and brothers. So let's keep moving. All right. In the 1960s, we received our third energy burst. Sister Fatima, what were the attitudes of the Demons and the Saints during this period? Also, what musical sound did the Saints produce that reflected our mood in the 1960s?
Yes, ma'am. Assalamu alaikum. In the 1960s, we seen two different natures. The Demons wanted integration, and the Saints wanted separation. Martin Luther King preached integration. He wanted racial equality and to end segregation. The Demons wanted civil rights. They wanted voting rights. They wanted their devil fathers to accept them because they are his black-faced children, sisters and brothers. All right, sisters and brothers. Elijah Muhammad preached total separation. The Saints learned that the devil is our open enemy. The Saints wanted nothing to do with these devils. We did for self, producing our own food, clothing, and shelter. Elijah Muhammad told the Saints about the promised land. We would be fools to stay in the land of our imprisonment. We wanted complete separation, which is a totally different vision from the Demons. All right, sisters and brothers, during the 1960s, music is a reflection of the original nation's emotions. So approximately every 50 years, the planet receives a burst of energy. During the 1960s, we invented Motown music. The Motown music era started in the 1960s when we received our third energy wave.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Sister Fatima. All right, sisters and brothers. So again, we see in the 1960s, with our third energy burst, two different directions, two different natures arising. The divide between the Demons and the Saints coming bigger, bigger, and bigger. All right, so as Sister Fatima identified, Martin Luther King, he wanted integration. He wanted, and that's the Demon vision. They want to be close to Master. They want to eat with Master. They want to sleep with Master. They want Master to take care of them. So they're fighting for welfare. That's part of civil rights. They want to vote. They want to have a say-so in masses system. So they want to be loved and accepted by their devil fathers. However, the saints, we want complete and total separation. That's what Elijah Muhammad taught. So during these, we see leaders emerge, two different leaders emerge during these, the energy bursts that we receive as well. Martin Luther King and Elijah Muhammad. Elijah Muhammad taught complete and total separation, taught to do for self, and he taught unity, or us coming together, the saints, and producing food, clothing, and shelter, as Sister Fatima has identified. So this is the pattern that we are seeing approximately every 50 years, two different visions, two different natures, the divide growing bigger and bigger and bigger. And we also produced Motown. That was a reflection of our mood at the time. So that brings us to the 2020s. We are due for our fourth energy burst, sisters and brothers. So right now we are beginning to experience our fourth energy burst. And this energy burst will be like no other. During this time, we will see two different visions reach their peak between blacks here in America. One group of blacks will be following Martin Luther King with integration. He preached to blacks about taking over America, wanting to heal and stay here in America. So this is the demon's vision. All right. Today they're talking about reparations. They're saying that they exactly what same song as Martin Luther King. They want to take over America. All right. And another group, the other group of blacks, would want 100% separation, following in Elijah Muhammad's footsteps. Okay, a complete breakout, meaning to leave America for good, back to our land that God gave his word to give to the seed of Abraham in the Bible, the Abrahamic covenant. We know our land is Arabia. This is the original nation's vision, sisters and brothers. So with each energy burst, we see a leader emerge from each group of black people that represents each path, a person representing the path of separation and a person representing the path of integration. The two visions of the two groups of black people have not changed, sisters and brothers. They have gotten more intense with each energy wave. The demons want to stay in America. They want to break in and gain full control, while the saints want to leave America and take our land, Arabia, back. So two totally different visions with different outcomes. So what will be the attitude and the language of the leader of the demons? All right, this person will be preaching to stay in America. So that's Louis Farrakhan, a black-skinned Caucasian demon. He admits that his father is a devil. He is the product of rape. His Portuguese Jewish father raped his black mother and forced her to give birth to Farrakhan. He is a demon, half devil, half man. He is the chief demon. And he's preaching how much he loves America and he wants to stay here. Okay, while expressing how much he hates the original nation, constantly accusing us, saying that we're sinful, calling our sisters out of their names, while speaking highly of America. So he wants to save America. He says he doesn't want to see America be destroyed, and he doesn't want to leave America. So, which America is the very nation that afflicted the original nation. They afflicted us, which we identified in the Holocaust. However, Farrakhan, he's clearly on the side of America because he has the nature and the bloodline of a devil. So it's clear to see exactly who Farrakhan is just by what he's preaching. We see what side he's on. He's on the side of fighting for America. Now, what would the leader of the original black man and black woman in America be preaching? This person will be preaching the Abrahamic covenant. Will be preaching about us going home to Arabia. So that's the messenger of the covenant, also known as Joshua the Messiah. He's preaching the Abrahamic covenant, and he's the one to lead us home to our promised land. So the original nation, we have a vision to unite under, sisters and brothers. The demons, they're fighting for the American dream. Reparations, that's part of the American dream. So, and then what's the attitude of the messenger? One moment, sisters and brothers. Looks like we're having technical difficulties. Okay. All right. So what's the attitude of the messenger of the covenant? He's letting us know that we're not sinful. He's given us a free gift. That's another identification right there. Louis Farrakhan, he's charging you. All these preachers and deacons, they're charging you for information about you that they claim is for your salvation. However, the messenger of the covenant, he's bringing you a free gift. He's not asking for any money. And he's letting us know that we're going home to our promised land, Arabia. He's also the one to lead us home. He's letting us know that we're not sinful. All right. He's letting us know that the sisters and the brothers are equal but different. So this is a message that we're not getting anywhere else, sisters and brothers, except for from the messenger of the covenant. So it's clear who the leader is of the saints and who the leader is of the demons. All right. So also, the saints, we hate the demons' vision. All right. Because the demons, they want was for their nature. We have opposite natures. All right. And the demons, they hate the saints' vision. So the demons, they don't want to leave America. That's why there's two different attitudes right now in America. So music during this time, sisters and brothers, will be a sound of victory. We will soon be rejoicing. A new music and sound is on the horizon, sisters and brothers, because music is a reflection of our mood, of our emotions, and we affect the atmosphere with our music. All right. The whole world is dancing and jamming to the original nation's music. So soon we are going to realize that we control the atmosphere, not complete control, but soon through discipline, sisters and brothers, we will have enough power to control the atmosphere for our benefit as a weapon for when our enemies attack us during the tribulations that's soon to come. Because we don't need guns, knives, and bombs. Our control of the atmosphere is also our control of the weather. And weather is more powerful than an atomic bomb, sisters and brothers. The devil's weapons and systems cannot function properly when the weather is bad. So they're dependent upon good weather for them to be able to use their weapons. So understand, sisters and brothers, that no weapon formed against us will prosper, whether it be physical weapons, the weapons of deception. No weapons formed against us will prosper. The original nation is about to produce a new sound, sisters and brothers, a long-awaited victory and a final breakout from America. So this is what we are to expect any day, any moment we will receive our next energy burst. All right, sisters and brothers, now we transition to the war, which the book of Revelations identifies the war in the Middle East in detail. Brother Malik, will you expound on the war and how the outcome will affect the original black man and woman?
Assalamu alaikum, sisters and brothers. Revelations 12:7-9. And occurred war in the heaven, the Michael, the angels, and the angels of him, other to war with the dragon. And the dragon warred and the angels of it, and not it proved strong, not but place was found of them yet in the heaven. And was thrown the dragon, the great, the serpent, the archaic, the being called devil and the Satan, the making to err, the being inhabited whole. He was thrown into the earth, and the angels of him with him were thrown. Sisters and brothers, these scriptures are sharing with us who the characters or countries and people are that will be in this war that we're witnessing in the Middle East, which is called heaven, which is heaven, say it like that. Sisters and brothers, the first thing in shared in this scripture is that the war occurred in heaven. That gives us a clear understanding of where heaven is from the unsealed scriptures. Heaven is the Middle East. Heaven is here on earth. Heaven is not a place in your belief that you have to get to after you're dead. That our enemy has installed with fear. Sisters and brothers, we're not going to receive any wings, halos, or none of those make-believe things. Heaven is right here, and that's the first thing that is shared here in the scripture. Now, sisters and brothers, you wouldn't be able to witness a war in that so-called heaven that doesn't exist in your belief system. No one, how would you see it? Who would tell you about the war that's taking place? No one. However, the war in heaven, the war in the Middle East, the Michael and the angels of him, to war with the dragon, and the dragon warred and the angels of it. This describes who's at war in heaven. Michael and the angels of him are Master Farad Muhammad, being Michael, and his angels are Iran and Syria. They will be at war with the dragon, and the dragon warred and the angels of it. The dragon is the house of Saudi Arabia. And the angels of the dragon are America, Britain, and false Israel. Now, this gives us the characters, the countries that are in this war. Sisters and brothers, these are the countries that are in an alliance against Iran in the war that is taking place in the Middle East, which is heaven. America, Britain, false Israel, and the dragon, the house of Saudi Arabia. So we know who is at war from the unsealed scriptures. So, sisters and brothers, this war, these characters was shared in detail with us far before the first bomb hit or dropped was shot. And the unsealed scriptures shares with us that the outcome of this war Iran will be the victor. And the dragon, Michael and his angels will be the victor. And the dragon and the angels of it would be the losers, the defeated. And the scripture shares with us, and not it proved strong, not but place was found of them yet in the heaven. So here it states that the dragon and the angels of it did not prove to be strong enough, and now not but place was found of them yet in the heavens. So sharing that this war took place in heaven, but now there's no sign of the dragon and the angels of it in heaven. So this is sharing, as the scripture said, and was thrown the dragon, the great, the serpent, the archaic, the being called devil and the Satan, the making to err, the being inhabited whole. He was thrown into the earth, and the angels of it with him were thrown. So the dragon and the angels of him were thrown out of heaven. Now, sisters and brothers, the dragon, the great, the serpent, the archaic, the being called devil and the Satan, America, Britain, and the synagogue of Satan, false Israel. Devil and the Satan, the making to err, the being inhabited whole. Who is the rulers of this world? America is the superpower. Britain, who is Magog, is the mother of America, God. And the synagogue of Satan is false Israel. They are ruling this world. The world is following America's lead. The world, America, Britain, and false Israel is making to err the being inhabited whole, is causing the whole world to err. The devil and the Satan has deceived the whole world and had them, and is causing the whole inhabitants of the world to err. This is what the scripture identifies, sisters and brothers, and there's no debate in who is ruling this world. This world is being ruled by the Caucasian nation. This world is being ruled by America, and the rest of the Caucasian nations are following suit to the ruler, the America. Now, sisters and brothers, and was thrown. They were, so this lets us know that the dragon and the angels of it was defeated. This is what is taking place right now in the real world, in the world, sisters and brothers. This is the outcome of the war that is taking place in the Middle East. Sisters and brothers, we have been given the outcome through the unsealed scriptures of the Bible so that we can prepare ourselves for what is coming. However, sisters and brothers, from every elevated place are open enemy and our hidden enemies are blocking the truth that is being provided to us by the messenger of the covenant, the breaker of the seven seals, Master Suleiman, Joshua, the Messiah, the Son of Man. Keeping us from understanding or recognizing our vision, sisters and brothers. And a people without a vision will perish. Now, sisters and brothers, the outcome of this war is going to bring this world as you know it, as we know it, to a screeching halt. All blockages, distractions that are keeping the original black man and woman from understanding and recognizing what's taking place is going to be removed. And the reality of what is taking place is going to hit hard, sisters and brothers, because it's going to cause an economic collapse in America and throughout the world, which is going to bring unprecedented time on all of us. Instant a instantaneous action that will be felt immediately. Your regular lives will be affected. You will not be able to get up and turn on the lights, have flowing water. You'll have the gas that you have in your car until it's gone. You will not be able to go to the store and buy food. Just going to the store, in the store, if in going that when you get to the store will be filled with people scrummaging for food, fighting, killing. It will be bodies piled up from being killed from trying to obtain food. Sisters and brothers, this is what the unsealed scripture lets us know what is coming in the near future. Now, sisters and brothers, famine, economic collapse, is what this war in the Middle East is going to cause. Sisters and brothers, now, these things are going to be taking place as well. Before America is defeated in the Middle East, the chief demon, Louis Farrakhan, will be cast out or cast down out of the Nation of Islam. This will take place before there's victory or defeat in the Middle East. So this means this event will happen soon. Now, sisters and brothers, America will attack all blacks when America is thrown out of the Middle East. Why will America attack all blacks? Sisters and brothers, false Israel has stolen our identity. False Israel claims that they are the true seed of Abraham. Sisters and brothers, America and Britain set false Israel up in the Middle East to counter Elijah Muhammad's claim that the original black man and woman here in America are the true seed of Abraham. Sisters and brothers, this war in the Middle East is going to prove without a shadow of a doubt that false Israel is not the true seed of Abraham. False Israel, sisters and brothers, will be destroyed. In and with false Israel's destruction, the destruction of their religious eschatology that has been pushed by America, Britain, this Christian and Catholicism throughout America, that false Israel is the true seed of Abraham, will be destroyed with false Israel, which will immediately cause the world to see who the original black man and woman of America are, and for the world to recognize immediately that the true seed of Abraham is none other than the original black man and woman here in America. Making it crystal clear. Sisters and brothers, this understanding will cause a shock on the world. It will also cause men hearts to fail from fear from what is coming up on the earth, from watching what receiving a bird's eye view of false Israel's destruction, watching false Israel receive all the consequence of all the of what they have caused on other nations, the genocide, the bombing, and the causing famine, man-made famine on nations. The world will witness false Israel going through famine, sitting in their own shit, desalination plants destroyed, them eating their own children, the world will witness false Israel carrying out cannibalism. And knowing that this is coming to what their witness is coming to America. Many of men, or that many people will just begin to stroke out, have heart attacks from what is coming on the earth, for what is coming to America. So, sisters and brothers, this is the outcome of this war. Famine, war, bloodshed, cannibalism, all these things are coming to America as well. So, sisters and brothers, we are not going to allow deception and lies to keep us from understanding who we are. The truth has been given to us, and we must pass on this message to bring awareness to our people. Sisters and brothers, we will be successful because we have a doorway out of America. We are not staying here in the land of our affliction, as the chief demon and his student ministers are sharing. We are returning to the land that God has promised Abram's seed, the land from the river Egypt to the great river, the river Euphrates, which is Arabia. Sisters and brothers, we will go through a time of unprecedented trouble, going through what is called tribulations, purifying ourselves, receiving our new mind, the angel mind, and getting rid of that the devil's mind, letting it go. Sisters and brothers, we will come together overnight as a mighty nation, as an mighty army, as one body. Sisters and brothers, so we will use, as previously shared early, that we will use the 5 mathematical pillars of Islam as our weapon, as our protection, through this time of unprecedented trouble, through these tribulations, as we move to the West Coast to be taken home. Now, sisters and brothers, this will this attack by America will take place before false Israel is destroyed, because did I make that? I don't know.
Yes, sir.
When false Israel is destroyed, that well, I did. I just had a. So this is the outcome of the war, sisters and brothers. This is what is going to happen, not expected. What is being shared with you, that sisters and brothers, they're not going, our enemies are not going to allow us to even know what is taking place. They will not, it's a national security threat to even share the truth of the conditions that the world is in, that America is in this war. There, it's against their law to even give a heads up. So, sisters and brothers, this is just something that you can identify with immediately. Go to Family Dollar, the dollar store where you get your balloons for your special events. And on the door, it has a sign, big sign. We're out of helium. There's no helium. And very few stores still have helium. And you're only able to get 1 to 2 balloons. So you wasn't told that it's a helium shortage until you got to the door trying to buy balloons. That's how everything is going to be. You're not going to be told that it's an oil shortage, it's a food shortage. You will find that out when you don't have any food. When there's no gas, when you go to the tank and it has a sign on the tank, we're out of gas. That's when you will find out. So, sisters and brothers, this message has been provided to us from the messenger of the covenant, from the unsealed scriptures of the Bible, from the Injil, the gospel of revelations of what this time is bringing and the outcome of it. So with that, I'm going to relinquish and return the mic or the meeting back to the speaker.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Brother Malik. All right, sisters and brothers. So we have identified the war in the Middle East, how it's going to affect us, the outcome of the war, details about the participants, who's going to win and who will lose. We have identified that we are the true seed of Abraham, and we've given them history to prove it. The Holocaust, our 400-year sacrifice. We've highlighted the warrior queen's special contribution to preserving Abraham's seed. We have also identified the energy burst that we receive approximately every 50 years. We have showed the historical timeline and showed the pattern of two different natures between the demons and the saints arising with each energy burst and us taking different paths, different directions. The demons want to stay here in America, take over America, and the saints, we want to return home to our land, Arabia. So with that, sisters and brothers, I will open up the floor to our panel for any final thoughts. All right, sisters and brothers, that brings this segment to a close, and we will be back with more. Assalamu alaikum.